Greetings, Reader Memorial, family, and friends. I am Reverend Tara Gibbs. Thank you again for joining us for another episode of what we're calling Conversations on Coping. Since the pandemic began, we've had these weekly conversations with local and community experts on the topics that you have asked about the most. We've talked with a local school principal, we've talked to some social workers, we've talked to local pastors, and we've talked to a number of others, including therapists. We've talked to gym leaders and whatnot. We've talked to people just to understand how this pandemic is affecting our community, how it affects our people, and most importantly, what we can do to prepare ourselves and adapt and move forward in the midst of the pandemic. So today, I have with us another special guest, Mr. Joseph Jones Jr. from Greer Funeral Service. For the 6 people in Charlotte who do not know who you are, would you mind just giving us a little bit of an introduction?
Well, again, I'm Joseph Jones. Thank you for having me. Part of the Greer Funeral Service staff. I'm a native Charlottean. Been in Charlotte all my life, born and raised. Graduated from Independence High School and then Gumpton Jones College of Funeral Service in Atlanta. So been here serving here soon to be 39 years in the Charlotte area.
Wow, 39 years, and we thank you for that service. Here at Reader, we are familiar with you and the business, and we are just so thankful of how you have been dedicated to the community, dedicated to our people, and dedicated to God. So thank you for what you do. We appreciate you.
Thank you.
So with your 39 plus years of experience, I know you have a lot to say about how this pandemic has pretty much changed a lot of things. So can you just tell us from your perspective, what has changed, what's different, what's going on?
Well, in total, this is the South. The South is accustomed to being caring, loving, take your time, we're gonna make things work. But since this pandemic has come in, we've literally had to change our total outlook on how we can serve others and then be concerned about family need during a time of death. The governor, the county has gotten mandates on number of people in certain places, and that number has gotten to be 50. When this pandemic started, it was 10, and that was totally chaotic. But this 50 is still different. Getting families to understand that those 50 people, and then for them to have to designate or invite 50 people to come to what we dub as a homegoing celebration is difficult. It's difficult. Puts a family in a peculiar place, having to specify you can come and you cannot come. And then we're in the middle of that. So that's the most difficult part of this. We serve, we try to treat each case on its own merit to kind of give families the time that they need to grieve publicly by changing some visitation times, just so that they have that time to spend with their loved one. But it's been very difficult.
Yeah, I can only imagine having to have that pressure of picking just 50 loved ones or people close and co-workers and family to attend. It's very difficult. So that being said, could you just share with us a little bit if, unfortunately, because it's going to happen if it hasn't happened yet, someone gets the call, someone finds out the loved one has passed, they're ready to reach out to you, but they don't even know what to do next or how things have changed. What would you say to someone, or what do they kind of need to know about how things have changed?
Well, everything has a process. So when we get that initial call, we want to meet with our families to come in and just kind of sit down and see what's on their mind, type of services that they want to render. And then still in trying to keep in the back of our minds, we're going to get to this point where we're going to say, because of COVID, we're in this particular capacity. For our facility, if we're in our smaller areas, we can only allow 10 people at a time, which may mean 10 in, people are rotating, what we call a walkthrough, and we'll have to have staff there to kind of govern that crowd. We're also doing a tracing. We try to list the names of every individual that crosses our threshold, no matter what they're coming in the building for, just so that if any issues arise later and that name comes up, we can say, yes, they were here this day for this particular reason. That's the biggest difference. Keeping up with people, regulating the number of people that can come in. Our folks don't like to be told who can and who can't. So it puts us in a peculiar place sometimes.
Sure. I mean, on top of already the pressure of having to deal with this situation, right?
Exactly.
So, okay. I always want to ask like a final word of advice, but just before that, if I may, what is it that, if you could just say like one thing that people just kind of need to know in this process, what is that one thing that you would want to say to someone who has experienced loss during this time?
Well, just in general of the loss, families need to communicate. Families need to talk. Parents need to talk to their children about their desires and their wishes when this time comes. Your financial plan, that needs to be in the forefront of the mind. The insurances that you have, somebody needs to know what you have, where those documents are, how to process it. Yes, your funeral home will help you through that process, but you do need to have the information. And if I don't tell my children, my spouse, where those papers are and what they look like, when that time comes and grief is all over the place, you can be looking for a document and it's sitting right there in front of you and never see it. And that's usually our biggest issue. We're not accustomed to letting people know what our thoughts and feelings are for when it's our time.
Excellent word. That preparation sounds very, very important.
Yes.
Some of the chat we had earlier, just in casual conversation, was that this is inevitable. So let's be prepared for that.
That's right.
Thank you for that.
That's right.
All right. Well, at the very end of this video, we'll have the information for Greer Funeral Services available for those who are watching. If they want to reach out, contact you with more questions, or if they will need your services. So stay tuned for that information. But we just have to say thank you again, sir. We really appreciate you. Again, what you do for this community, the love you have shared with our church family, our church members. Words cannot express how appreciative we are. So thank you. Thank you.
Thank you for having me. Rita's a part of my blood. So.
Excellent. And thank each and every one of you for joining us today and watching with us. God bless you.